Welcome to the Knowing Podcast.
Welcome
To the Knowing God Podcast by Hide and Seek Ministries. Great for kids and grown-ups.
This is episode number 34 of the Knowing God Podcast for kids. My name is Erin, and I've got you guys. Who are you?
Lily,
Grayson.
Aiden.
All three of you are here today. Now I have a question for you. Who likes superheroes?
Me.
All three of you like superheroes. What is your favorite superhero?
Batman. Spider-Man.
Batman.
2 Batmans and 1 Spider-Man. Okay. Would you like it if you had a superpower like a superhero does?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You would like that? Have you ever been scared before? Have you ever been afraid of something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to share what you've been afraid of?
I will.
Okay.
Well, like when I was like really little, I used to be afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Like, because you have to have like a nightlight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When I was like 3, I was afraid, like when lightning, I was afraid of that.
Lightning, yeah.
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 When I was like 3 or 2.
Both of you boys have been afraid of storms before, haven't you? Mm-hmm.
When
Now,
I grew 3 or 2.
would you like it if you had a superpower to help you when you were afraid? Would you like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about a missionary. Who remembers what a missionary is?
I do.
What?
It's somebody that goes around the world to tell people about God.
Yeah. And in this story, we are going to see how a missionary had a superpower. Do you think that's true? Do you think a missionary had a superpower?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to see how he had a superpower that he used when he was scared.
I think I know what the superpower is.
What?
God.
You think that's true? Well, we're going to find out. He had a superpower that he used when he was scared. And then we will see how you can use that exact same superpower that the missionary did. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this missionary's name was Victor Plymire. And a long time ago, he was traveling in the mountains of Tibet. And as he was riding his horse, he came to a long bridge, and it was made out of wood. And it went over a gorge. Do you know what a gorge is?
No.
Okay, do you know what a cliff is, right?
Right.
And you can imagine yourself standing on the edge of a cliff, and what would you see? It would go straight down really far, right?
Right.
So, well, a gorge is like almost like 2 cliffs put together. And there's that big space, and you can see the other cliff, but you can't get there without a bridge. Can you imagine that now?
Yeah.
And this bridge that he came to was one of those old flimsy bridges that was made out of wood and kind of moved a little, and it looked like it might break if you step on it. You've seen that on a movie maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or some of our listeners might have even seen one in real life. Victor came to this bridge, and he was riding his horse, and he started to cross the bridge, and he was over this really deep gorge. And he got about halfway through the bridge, and he saw something on the other side waiting for him. You know what that was?
What?
It was a group of robbers. There were these men, and they had spears and swords and muskets, and they were waiting for him.
What are muskets?
They're like a gun.
Used like during the Revolutionary War times.
Mm-hmm. And he was going over this creaky, flimsy bridge that could break at any moment. And then he saw these robbers waiting on him.
He was in a bad situation.
Yes, he was. Now, at that moment, Victor had a choice to make. What would you do if you were Victor?
Turn around and try to find a different way.
I would just keep crossing it.
You would?
I would probably try to find a different way. Go back.
Well, Victor was really, really scared. And if he turned around, he thought, these robbers are probably going to chase after me. If he could even get turned around on his horse on this bridge, right? And
so he's on his horse. I thought he would leave the horse behind.
Yeah. No, he was on his horse. So he had a decision to make. And you know what he decided? he decided to keep going forward on this bridge.
That's what I guess.
But he decided to do something else too. He decided to pray. He prayed and asked God for help. So you want to know what happened? After he prayed, Victor kept riding forward on this old bridge. And he was going towards the robbers. And when he got almost to the end of the bridge and almost to the robbers, he made his horse start to gallop and go faster. And he rode quickly past the robbers. But he saw something as he rode past these robbers. These robbers were staring at something. It was like they were in a trance.
What's a trance?
Like they were just frozen. They were staring at something and they were so scared that they couldn't move. But Victor didn't know what it was. So he rode past them really quickly, and after he got a little bit away from him, he stopped on his horse and turned around to look at the robbers. The robbers saw something and they were running away. What do you think they saw?
An angel.
That is very possible. Victor didn't know what it was, but it sure seemed like it might have been an angel or something like that. So do you
I think it's an angel too.
You think so? Victor wasn't for sure what they saw because he didn't see it. But we do know one thing. God answered Victor's prayer, and he helped Victor get safely past these robbers. So do you think that Victor had a superpower on that bridge?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody agrees you
Yeah.
think he did? What do you
I think I know what it is.
What?
The Holy Spirit.
That's a great guess, Grayson. Let me tell you what the Bible says in 1 John 5:4. It says, "For whatever is born of God overcomes the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith." Let me read that in a different version of the Bible to help us understand it. Okay? I'm going to read that same verse in a different version. It says, "Everyone who is a child of God has won the battle over the world. Our faith has won the battle for us." In other words, if you believe in Jesus, you have faith that helps you win battles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's think about superheroes again for a minute. Aiden, who is your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Does Spider-Man ever have to fight battles against bad guys?
Yes.
What superpower does he have when he fights those battles?
He has webs.
He shoots webs, doesn't he? Did you know that at your age, you sometimes have to fight battles? Did you know that? You might not fight battles against bad guys, but sometimes you have to fight battles in this world. I'm going to give you an example, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I already think I know what it is, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you were playing in the living room and you accidentally broke a lamp. And let's just pretend that it was my most favorite lamp and it was so special to me. And you were afraid that if you told me that you broke it, you were going to get in big trouble. So you went and you picked up the lamp. And when you picked it up, you noticed that, there was just this small piece broken. And you thought, if I go get some glue, I think I could glue this small piece back on the lamp and Mom would never know and I wouldn't get in trouble. So right there, you have a decision to make. Just like Victor had a decision, you have a decision. You can decide, okay, I'm going to glue that lamp and not tell my mom I broke it. Or I better just tell the truth and I better tell Mom that I broke it.
I think to tell the truth.
You think to tell the truth?
Yeah. I actually would probably go get glue and glue it back. Like in real life, I actually probably would do that. But the right thing to do would be just to tell.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Okay, so when you have a decision like that, you're deciding between a good decision and a bad decision, right?
Right.
And it might be easier for us to say right now because we're not really in that situation. We didn't really break a lamp, did we? So it might be easier to say, oh, I would tell the truth. But when we're actually in the situation, it's a lot harder to make that choice. So when we have to make a decision like that, it's like we're in a battle. Because part of ourselves wants to do what is right, but part of ourselves wants to do what is wrong. Does that make sense? And it's like we're in a battle. It's also like if, Aiden, let's say your brother does something really mean to you and it makes you really mad. Then you have a choice on how you act or how you react. Are you going to get mad? And if you get mad, are you going to hit him? Are you going to call him a name? You know that you shouldn't, but there's like this battle going on with how you're going to handle that. Or if I tell you to go do something, if I tell you to go clean your room or something like that, you have a choice whether you're going to listen to what I told you to do or whether you're going to backtalk me and argue with me. Right? Or kids at school, they have a choice every day whether they're going to listen to their teacher and do what their teacher said or whether they're going to be kind to other kids in class. There's all kinds of decisions that we have to make, and a lot of these decisions involve a good choice or a bad choice. And when we have to make decisions like that, it's like we're in a battle. Which one's going to win, the good one or the bad one?
The good one.
You think the good one? Well, sometimes the good one wins, but sometimes we don't do a very good job at when we battle. And sometimes we make the wrong choice, don't we? The good news is you don't have to fight these battles all by yourself. We have the armor of God, which we've talked about in other episodes, and we have the Holy Spirit. But what we're talking about today is the faith that we have when we believe in Jesus. We can think of that faith as like we have a superpower. And we can use that superpower of faith to help us fight the battles that we have. It helps us make the good choices. Just like Spider-Man has a superpower to help him fight his battles, we also have a superpower of faith to help us win against the bad choices and the bad things in this world. Now let me read that verse from 1 John again. It says, everyone who is a child of God, that means if you believe in Jesus, okay, anybody that believes in Jesus, he has won the battle over the world. Our faith has won the battle for us. Our faith is our superpower. In fact, notice that it says our faith has already won the battle. How could our faith already win the battle? Do you know how? Because Jesus has already done all the work for us. He died on the cross and he won the battle against evil. Now, one day God will put the devil and all the evil things in hell forever. But for now, until that day comes, we still live in a world and there's some sinful things in this world. There's some evil things in this world, right?
Right.
But because Jesus has died on the cross, and when we believe in him, we get his faith. And that faith is our superpower. Now, think about Victor again on that bridge. Okay, are you thinking about him?
Yeah.
Victor had faith in God, didn't he? And because he had faith, he decided to pray. And then he won the battle against the robbers and against being scared. So here's the question. What do you think faith is? What does it mean to have faith?
To believe in something.
So if you have faith in God, it's more than just believing that God is real. Okay, did you hear that? Having faith in God is more than just believing that he's real. It also means that you have trust and confidence in God.
What's confidence mean?
What's confidence mean? I'll give you an example, okay? So if I say to you, okay, everyone, let's go get in the car because we're going to go to the park. What would you do?
Be excited.
You'd be
excited.
Yeah, you'd be excited and go get in the car because we're going to the park, right? But what if a complete stranger walks up to you, someone you have never seen before, don't know who they are, and they say, hey, let's go get in the car. We're going to go to the park.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger is right. You would not go with that person, would you? Because why? Because they're a stranger and you're not supposed to go anywhere with strangers, right?
Right.
Right.
You know what? You trust me. You know me. You have trust and confidence in me because I'm your mother, right?
Right.
But a stranger you don't have trust and confidence in. You don't know who they are. You don't know anything about them. So you don't trust them. You don't have faith in them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So having faith in God means you trust God like you would trust me. Only you should trust God even more than you do me because I'm just a person, right?
Right.
Now let's go back to Victor again on that bridge. We know that Victor had faith in God, and so he had trust and confidence in God. And if he didn't have that faith in God, he would have said, well, I'm not going to pray because that's not going to do any good. God doesn't answer my prayers all the time. That's not having trust and faith and confidence, right?
Right.
he would have not even seen the need to pray. But he had faith, and faith is that superpower. And because he had faith, because he had trust and confidence in God, he said, I'm going to pray because I know God answers my prayers. He trusted God. He had faith in God. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's think about Spider-Man again.
Spider-Man.
We know that Spider-Man shoots webs. That's his superpower, right? Mm-hmm. But does he have any other superpowers?
Yes.
What does he have?
He can, like, crawl on ceilings like a spider.
And he has spider sense, so he can sense danger.
Okay, so he can shoot webs, but he can also crawl and stick to the ceiling, right? And he has spider sense.
I already knew all those things.
You did. Good job.
I just said it all.
So when Spider-Man fights bad guys, does he use just one superpower, or does he usually use kind of all of them together?
Kind of all. Sometimes like all of them.
All of them.
And so our faith works the same way. We have a superpower, that's our faith, but it works together with other things. You want to know what those other things are?
Yeah.
If we go back to the book of 1 John again, it tells us that our faith works with love and our faith works with obedience.
What's obedience mean?
That is a really good question. What does obedience mean?
It means you're obeying someone. So like obeying someone, like you're like following what they said. So if your mom says to go clean your room, then you obey her and then you're obedient and go do what she says.
Yeah, if you're told to do something, you do it. You're obedient, right? So on the next episode, we're going to talk more about how our superpower of faith works with love and obedience. And we're also going to talk about a super secret about our superpower. Do you want to hear what that secret is?
Sure.
We cannot use our eyes when we use our faith. That's a super secret. We're going to talk about that in the next episode.
So like close your eyes?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, you have to come back and listen to the next episode. Okay, episode 35, we're going to talk about these things. But for today, before we go, remember, sometimes even as kids, you guys are in a battle. And one way that you are in a battle is by the decisions, the choices you have to make. Are you going to make a good choice or a bad choice? But because Jesus already defeated evil when he died on the cross, we have faith. And faith is our superpower. And it helps us fight our battles. And it helps us win our battles. Okay, so I'm going to read that verse in 1 John 5 one more time. It says, everyone who is a child of God. Who's a child of God?
Us.
Us.
People that believe in God.
People that believe in Jesus. If you believe in Jesus, you're a child of God. Everyone who is a child of God has won the battle. They've won the battle over the world. And what's won our battle for us? Our faith. Our faith has won the battle. Our faith is our superpower. And if you believe in Jesus, you have that superpower. What's the superpower?
Faith.
Faith.
So thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you join us again on the next episode as we continue to talk about faith as our superpower. If you haven't subscribed to our podcast, we really hope that you do. We would also really appreciate it if you would go to your favorite podcast app and leave a review and rate this podcast so it would encourage others to listen and learn about God as well. You can also go to our website, hideandseekministries.com/podcast, and you will see a little yellow box towards the top, and you can click on that and get the worksheet that goes along with this episode for a fun review. And we thank you so much for joining us in this episode. We hope to see you again on the next episode of the Knowing God podcast for kids.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to play a game.
A game.
Yeah. And we're going to see how many superheroes the boys can say in 10 seconds. And Lily, you're going to count the number of superheroes, okay? And I'm gonna count 10 seconds. You're gonna count the superheroes, and you guys are gonna name them together as a team. Are you ready? No villains, just superheroes.
Oh, can we do villains this time?
No.
Nope, just the superheroes. Let's see how many you can name. Are you gonna count the different ones? Okay.
After the superheroes, can we do villains?
I don't know. We'll see.
Can we take turns? Like I say one and Grayson says one. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. You say one, and yes, you can take turns. That'll
Can
make
I
it
go
easier.
first?
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready? Okay, sis, are you ready to count them? Okay. Ready? Go.
Batman,
Spider-Man.
Green Lantern,
Flash.
Aquaman,
Hulk.
Okay, time's up. How many did they get?
6.
6 and 10 seconds. That's not too bad. And to all the kids listening, we would love to see a picture that you draw of your favorite superhero. If your parents or guardian says that it is okay to send to us, we would love to see it. You can mail it to Hide and Seek Ministries, P.O. Box 1835, Springfield, Missouri 65801.
Bye.
Bye.